ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו שהכל יהיה בדברו. Shar Aleph Parag Gimel is coming after Parag Beis, and in Parag Beis we learned the unbelievable yesod, which is going to become even more poignant in Parag Gimel, and that is that we're learning the definition of Tzelem Elokim, Parag Aleph. Tzelem, Parag Beis, Elokim. Together, Tzelem Elokim. And what we learned was that the name Elokim in the Bria, a particular Shem in the Bria, as opposed to the many other Shemos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is the Koach HaBria. Bereshis bara Elokim, es HaShamayim, es HaOretz, not a random choice of words or names of Hashem, that Elokim is the koach of the Bria. Elokim means strength. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu put a koach in the Bria. He made it alive. The world is alive. It went from inanimate to animate. So this animation of the world is the koach Elokim. Baal hakoichos kulam. Elokim means, we learned from the words of the Shulchan Aruch itself, that Hashem is the Baal HaKoiches Kulam. And let me just remind you, we learned 3 pshatim. The third pshat is the most emes and the one that the Nefesh HaChaim is taking. Baal HaKoiches Kulam means he can do whatever he wants to do. I'm the Baal HaKochos here, right? I can do whatever I want to do. Which, okay, I want to make the sea go this way, I want to make the sea go that way, whatever I want to do, I can do. Baal HaKoiches Kulam in the second pshat is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a bailam on the koiches, that there are kochos in the, not that he could do whatever he wants to do, he put kochos in the Bria. The koach of gravity is a koach, the koach for us to talk is a koach. There are different kochos in the Bria. A lion can snarl other animals, the king of the jungle, right? So there are different kochos in the Bria. And that koach HaMachshava, has a bailam. And the Bailam is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So not that he can do anything, but he's the Baal on all of the kochos in the world. There are kochos, but the kochos have a Bailam. So that's the Elokim.
And he controls them?
He's the Bailam. Like here, he's the Balabais. So yes, there's kochos in the Bria, he's the Bailam. But the Zohar, and he brings here the Hago, which I'm going over, I don't want to get too deeply into the Kabbalistic words, but I'm just saying that the Zohar learns that Elokim is the actual koyach. Elokim is a koyach which HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in the Bria. In other words, like the vascular system of the world is called Elokim. You have a person. Let's say, take it as an example. You have a person. So a person is, body, flesh, blood, bones, whatever. Is a body, and then there's the when you animate the person. So that life force that goes through the person, it's not really the blood. It's not really it's because dead people have blood too. It's that there's a life force within the person. You wind the clock, you turn it out, however you want to understand. That's called Elokim. That life force. So Vayipach ba'apav nishvas chayim is that Hashem Elokim came and he put his Elikus into the person. So that's a whole different idea. That it's not just that he can do whatever, and it's not even that he's the Baal about whatever. That koach is called Elokim, and it goes from the top to the bottom. Meaning that koach, the life force in the Bria, could be talking about anything that has power. It could be talking about a Beis Din. It could be talking about Avodah Zarah, Elohim Acherim. Because anything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put this seminal life force into, is to have some kind of power in the world, has the Shem Elohim. Sometimes it's Chol, and the higher it gets, the more Kodesh it gets. So that's the name, that's the only name, that sometimes is Kodesh, and sometimes we Avihu es Hadavar ad Elohim. V'avadatem Elohim Acherim, v'ishtachavisem lahem. The Elohim is the name, is just a whole new way of thinking about it. Forget about God for a moment. It's the actual name of the Koach, the name of the Koach, like blood, Elokim. It's the name of the koach, which is in the Bria, is called Elokim, or Elohim sometimes, depending on how it's used and what it is and what its purpose is. So that's the koach Elokim. So when you're talking about cell of Elokim, what we're talking about is the cell of Elokim is the person has in it because of that vayipach ba'apav nishvas chayim, because Hashem blew his actual delay. Man delafach min delay kanafach has a very intimate life force. So we have this Elokim, like we are like a full concentration of this koach called Elokim. Doesn't mean that we're full of God necessarily. Might be that. I mean, depending on how you define it Kabbalistically. But for our purposes, it doesn't need to be that. It's not something. It's something Elokim. That's why it's plural. Elokim. It's a koach that was breathed into us, not to be taken lightly. The miracle of life is not to be taken lightly. It's a very tenuous thing. 1 minute you can be alive, 1 minute you can be dead. 1 minute you can be dead, next minute you can be alive. You can be born. It's a very fine line, no? Like alive and dead. Scientists are grappling with. Ethicists grapple with what's life. It's a very fine point. It's not really breathing. It's not really heartbeat. Those are simanim. But what is life? It's Elokim.
Why that verb blew, or that he blew his life force? And why do we need that? He could have just thought about it.
Yeah, but that blowing means that I'm actually taking something of myself and putting it in there. Uh-huh. It's not just like idea. Right. I actually put my kochos into it. So I mean, now. Again, it doesn't mean that necessarily the Avodah Zarah is called Elohi Bacher. Like, wow, you put so much koach into that thing, maybe it in itself is already God. Let's worship it. So, Elohi Bacher v'ishtachavisa lahem v'chor af Hashem. Hashem gets angry about that. You're mixing it up over here. But yes, it is a koach. So that's the deep and definitely what Rabbi Chaim is going with. And Mamela, it's the secondary point. I shouldn't say secondary, but the second point that was made in Perek Beis was that in Hashem's Bria, this koach is really amazing because the koach is a yesh b'ayin koach. It's something like the koach is coming. This animation that we're referring to is an animation, not just like he made trees. There was nothing, and then he made trees. Yes, that's a big finish. But the animation itself is coming from nothing. And that animation, in order for somebody to stay alive, in order for the wind to continue to blow and the sun to continue to rise and to set and the waves to go and the world to work, in order for the world to be plugged in, so that's a constant. You unplug it. Again, we were choker in this. I don't know that it poof disappears, but it loses all its animation. The world is dead, like a person dies. I don't know that it's more than that. Not to say that that Hashem didn't also make the goof of the person, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not the Tzelem Elokim. The Tzelem Elokim is the life force within the person. The fact that a person is a person, the fact that the table is a table, that's also created by Hashem.
That's the case. Why do we bury that person right away? If it's not
because it was once like an Aron Kodesh.
Right.
Or if you don't, if you keep a person who's Chayim Misa hanging, so it's ki kilalas Elokim tali. Kilalas Elokim tali means this is the vessel which HaKadosh Baruch Hu created to carry Elokim. Now it's dead. What's wrong? Are you allowed to hang a live person? Like I'm just dangling there alive? That's not the Savera. Why? Because, still Elokim. He's still, even in that hanging position, that upside down or whatever his position, he can still do a lot. He's still Koach Elokim. But that person is this once housed, it's like going to the Kaisel. This once housed the Beis Hashem. But what we're referring to, this is really something that I don't think, it has so many halachic ramifications, I don't think people think about it enough, that there is something called a life force, which I don't believe actually that for instance, scientists or physicists can put their finger on. They can define it only with symptoms.
What is and what is not.
Right, but for that point of view, scientists and doctors are completely unqualified to define life and death. I know they do, but like why?
This very point goes back to the scientific philosopher also. The only thing that exists is that which you can observe, that which you can measure, that which the scientist can.
Which is simply a symptom, but they can't create it. Right, and they can't. And how do you know when it goes away? So is a person alive when they stop breathing? But my heart is beating. Or my heart stops. Or like. It's so. By the way, I'm also like. It's so interesting the lashon. I mean, just lashonis. I just wonder what the people are. Doctors don't pronounce people healthy. They always pronounce them dead. What do they go? I pronounce him dead. Dead. D-E-A-D. You know how to pronounce that? Dead. Do they ever pronounce somebody alive? You ever hear? No, just
12:13. 12:13.
You pronounce somebody alive, but you didn't pronounce it. You just, he's alive. That's Rabbi Yaacov Haber. So it's interesting, this pronouncement, which has to do with dibur, that when I say he's dead, he's dead.
And not before.
Yeah. Even if he's going to move now or walk around, I pronounced it. Did you hear me? I pronounced you dead.
They had this recently with the Supreme Court justice who died, and they had to go find somebody to go come and say, "Oh no, he's dead." I mean, the guy.
I know. I've been around a lot of dead people. It's part of the job, and they look around the hospital all over to find somebody to pronounce him dead. I'll tell you that he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Like what's the no? But the thing but I just hold that diuk here for a minute because it's the ikar point for this moment to finish Perek Beis is that when we talk about Elokim, new definition of Elokim, the life force of the world. It's brand new. The life force of the world. That's Elokim. And the life force can come into something which is very, very low. Elohim, Acherim, also life force. There's also life force there. So hence you have all the different madregas of Elikus.
That's what I was going to ask. The animals also have a life force, but they're not B'Tselem Elokim.
They're not B'Tselem Elokim. We're not B'Tselem Elokim, but that doesn't mean to say that there's no life force in them. The Koach of Elokim, Bereshis Bar Elokim, is HaShamayim, Ha'aretz, and the animals, and the sun, and the moon, that's all Elokim. When he created Adam, it was B'Tselem Elokim, which we're going to learn right now, so you're not supposed to know this. But you're right. You're right. The life force is in everything. The Tselem is in humans.
Is it in the domain also? Life force in the domain also?
Everything has a life force. I don't know if I mentioned this, but an important scientific point that I read in at one point I was taking up gardening, so I just was learning Hilchos Domim and Someach. So the people are very complicated with like millions of parts and millions of things to create the life force. And because of our ability to think and to speak and articulate, so we're more complicated than a chai, and a chai is more complicated than a tzomeach, like a vegetable's not as complicated. It's complicated, but it's not as complicated. And a domain we look at as dead, but a domain is not really dead. It's one step above dead. And I was reading about this idea. I'm here a bit of an expert in this now, so tell me what you think of this. I was reading about this idea that people try to engineer soil. They try to find the exact soil that will grow things. And, this is the part of the soil that works. It has X amount of potassium, X amount of magnesium, etc., whatever. It's the exact soil that works. So you engineer, like, what do we have to bother with all the garbages of the soil? Just get the right stuff, and everything will get super growth, superfood, super growth, everything will be healthier. Doesn't work. And with this agri-scientists, I forgot what they're called. Agronomist, yeah, was saying that it's gufa, the chaos which takes place in the earth, which causes things to grow. Now, isn't that deep? It's goofa the chaos. There's chaos in the earth. It's made of so many different elements that it'll cause a decomposition of the seed. It's the chaos which causes it to decompose. So it's chaos is tov vavohu. That's what we were learning. The tov vavohu that we learned about on Thursday, which is the beginning of the whole bria, that's the chaos, which is why. Okay, why don't you skip that part? Skip the tov vavohu part. What's the relevance of tov vavohu? The answer is that it's the chaos before it's sorted out, which causes the plant to grow, and it's the chaos which is in the earth. Chaos is the word that he used. The chaos which is in the earth, which makes the whole world happen, which is what makes everything grow, makes people grow. And you need the tov vavohu, because from there comes out the whole world. So what we learned on Thursday is that in the lashon of the Gemara, that if you continue to bring the world to its tikkun, Avraham Avinu, Matan Torah, Mashiach, you're going to continue to bring the world to tikkun. That's our job, which we're going to learn in a minute. Our job here, what's our job? So fine, im lav, but if you don't do that, achseres ha'olam l'tohu vavohu. The Shemayim V'aretz, all of the stuff that came from the tohu vavohu is going to be Control Alt Delete. And now let's start again with tohu vavohu and let the chaos rule. And when we're not doing the tikkun, you see a little bit of that chaos in there. When you look at the 5 years of Nazi Holocaust, you're seeing a bit of tohu vavohu.
Seeing it today.
You see it today, I think. When everything's upside down and everything's backwards, and like even the marriage preference, sexual preferences, everything. It's a whole. It's not tikkun. It's not creating. It's not about creating any longer. It's about tohu vavohu. It's all chaotic. Now it's not a bad thing because it's the tohu vavohu. I mean, it is a bad thing because for us it's a bad thing. But we don't want to go back to tohu vavohu. Whenever you see tohu vavohu, it means time to recreate. The Bible was tohu vavohu. It means time to recreate. What did Noach do? He came out and planted a vineyard, which is the ultimate tikkun apri. The ultimate tikkun ha'adam is to make wine. You can't take something from chaos and make something so beautiful you can make kiddush hayoim on it, right? You can't do anything better than wine. But the world has to be rebooted at the time of the Bible, and when it gets rebooted, it doesn't go poof. It goes tohu vavohu. We're back to tohu vavohu. So this chaos is important to understand. To understand the tohu vavohu, go back to so we go back to our roots. We should.
Really, can also trying to understand this koach Elokim. That's the life force. It almost seems as I don't even know how to articulate this, but there's a Kodesh Baruch who created the world. He put a part of his Elokim into the world. So then, by definition, he also put his Havaya into the world.
So this Doron, right? This koach Elokim goes min hakodesh el hachol, right? You understand that? And what the nature of this life force is the debate of Mekubalim for probably a couple thousand years as to how much of it is God and how much of it is some esoteric force. Mekubalim may have a chance at trying to define it. Scientists have no chance of trying to define it because it's not something you can see under a microscope. You can't look under a microscope and see life. You can see symptoms of life, but you can't see life. You just can't do it. As you pointed out, you're never going to see it under a microscope. You can't see there's life. You can't see it. You can't see the life force even in a plant. You can see symptoms. You can see that the sap is flowing, or whatever you see in a plant, right? But you can't see life itself. That's Elokim. Hashem is invisible. Now, and the Mekubalim went on to say some, possibly even misunderstanding, if I'm based on other Mekubalim, that there's God in them there woods. Meaning it's an actual the koach, which is called the koach hatzimtzum, is actually like godly. Hence the toes of Avodah Zarah. it's an important toast because there is a koach in the bria. Maybe it's a different level of elikus in the bria. Okay, we need to understand that this ostensibly became the machlokus between the Balatanya and the Vilna Gaon. I'm not even sure if that's correct, but that ostensibly became the machlokus between them. It's such a fine point as to how much that fine point, of course, can make the difference between whether you should be worshiping something or not. If you like all of this people worship, and which came out even in some circles, Rebbe worship, is all understanding of what the tzimtzum is. Like, you see somebody who's like so great, and so holy, and so special. Like well, there's a lot of it's already laced din barnosh shalom. Is that not a din of a barnosh? But it is a barnosh. Dies, alive. You see, like the resistance to death, even the resistance to death. It's the fact that a person dies is the biggest raya that the only thing keeping me alive is the Elokim of Hashem. I don't have a perpetual motion machine, within me. Yeah, okay.
We venerate old people too. We venerate people who are very old.
Yeah.
In the Rosh Mashal, basically, is it true to say like there's that energy that we see, we are the symptoms of the Elokus?
What we do, what we say, what we think, it's all symptoms.
When we see the forces, the symptoms of Hashemah.
That's right. That's right. You can look at nature and say, "Wow, that's beautiful. I could see Hashem." But you're not seeing Elokim, so
It's like you can't see a thought either.
you can't see a neshama.
You can't see
It was
neshama.
like light.
You see the neshama,
Yeah.
but we know it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, something is there. But by the way, just to be clear, technical, the neshama is not yet the life force. La'aniyas daiti. That's an easy, again, like once it gets hard, we find it easy. Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah, right.
We've identified it. I'm not even sure if that's I think the neshama has a life force in it. I think it's not yet the Elokim. We're still talking about cell of Elokim. So now let's go. I'm sorry, what did you say?
There's a life like powered by Hashem, like sort of the kochod behind everything is powered by
No,
Hashem.
for sure. That particular, just to sum up, but we don't lose ourselves here, the particular Shem Hashem, which is used to refer to life force,
Powered
is
by
Elokim.
Powered by Elokim, it should be.
Gracious bar Elokim. The name was never used anywhere before the Chumash. What?
So that's good.
Prove me wrong on that one. It's only like this is the only shot in Elokim. By the way, Yud Kei Vav Kei is a step higher, nachon? Like yeah.
But then din is life force. What we want this kind of name. So then
Teva, Elokim, Hateva, Gematria. Right? Elokim is Gematria Hateva. The world is that the world is alive is Hashem's Elokim.
that's din also.
Din is the way things work, the way things were meant to work. It's din. This is mine. This is yours. This is my body. This is your body. This is my money. This is your money. That's din. Midas hadin. Midas hachesed is more chaotic. Local kachtav. Whereas midas hachesed, you need to find a balance over there. But like if a person's kuloi chesed, like that's a chorban too, because you're all over the place. That's chaos again. You're one step earlier. Chesed comes before Gemurah. You're looking for tiferes. That's the important thing. Problem is, people lose when they get to din. They lose their chesed, and it is an ingredient to the bria. Here he says, Parak Gimel, Kain b'nimi nasa, based on everything we just spoke about. Kivyachol. Kivyachol is probably the key word in this book because we have to be careful. Kivyachol means, so to speak, meaning like we can't get too. We're understanding a mashal. It's hard to understand it exactly. But Kivyachol. Now Hashem creates man. V'hi Shlit'a al ribe rivivon koichos va'elamais ein mispar. Saram biyadoi. Shehu hamedaber v'hamanhig oisam. Al pikol protei tnuos ma'isa v'diburav umachshavoisa v'chol sidrei hanagoisa v'helatoiv lehem v'chas v'shalom. Let me translate. Hashem created man. V'hi Shlit'a, and he put him in charge. Al ribe rivivon koichos v'elamais ein mispar, on uncountable amount of worlds and kochos. Umisaram biyado. Now, I looked at this wording and I realized, boy, I had it wrong all this time. I understood, because I've been through the Nefesh HaChaim many times, I understood that a person has a lot of kochos. Like we're the Mu'ula Shebabriya, right? We are the ultimate, right? We have a lot of kochos. I didn't understand that it's not just we have a lot of kochos, that we are the CEO here. Or as Hashem said, Hashem is Hashem. But Hashem said, I'm going to create man, and now you're in charge of not everything, but millions of worlds and millions of kochos, you're in charge. This is like, I don't understand this. This is a huge job. It's a huge responsibility. It's not like we have a koach. We have a koach, like a nuclear, uranium. It has a koach. It can blow up the world. It doesn't have bechira. The person has bechira. It's not just I have a koach. I'm in charge. So let me explain to you like my revelation. That is that Hashem created the world for 6 days. On the 6th day, He created man, and He said, "Take over." Asher bara Elokim lasos. Asher bara Elokim lasos. Don't forget about me, because I could knock you down in a minute. I could change everything in the world. I could make the sea split. I could go against Teva, but you're in charge. You're not the president of the company, but you're the CEO. You can get fired. But Hashem made different malachim to do different things. Like made Rafal to give refuah, and Malach Hamavos to kill people. But he made Adam to be in charge of what? Rive rivavan koichos v'ilamos ein mispar. Ein mispar sounds like an infinite ein mispar, or at least there's no number for it. I guess that's infinite.
What is he trying to quantify? If the lotion you use, bara Elokim, Hashem bara, everything that was created.
That's right.
It's almost like
but no, because
trying to quantify, but not say hakol.
No, much more than that, and more than what I just created now. Even in Shemayim, I'm giving you a koach. I created man. Once I create a man, you're in charge of things even we don't even know, we don't even understand. We're in charge of it. Even in Shemayim. That's
what created.
That's the infinity. No, that's where the infinity. No, but the infinity is that you're so in charge. We're so in charge. Like we were not created as part of the bria. We were created as I made this whole bria. Who's in charge? Hitas Elokim al Adam. Right? There's a certain. We're in charge. We're given certain kochos because we're in charge. For instance, Hashem says, "I'm going to have to make this one talk." He could have made cucumbers talk, but he didn't, because cucumbers are not in charge of anything. Cucumbers, just be yourself. There's nothing more to do. With us, there's a different koach where we have to be in charge. You see, Shlit'a. This is the key word here. The underlinable word is Shlit'a. He made him, means us, into a sholate. Al ribe rivain kochos v'ilamos. He didn't create us with unusual kochos. Lions have this koch, people have that koch. No, He created us to be sholate on kochos. We don't find this by any other bria. Isn't that like a chiddush? I mean, like a tremendous revelation. It's a whole different. It's a paradigm shift. It's not just next part of the bria, intelligent creation. It's not that. We're sholate, and look how this. Once you understand this, he Shlit'a aribe rivavan koichos v'ilamos in mispar umisaram biyadai. Here's the keys. Misaram biyadai shehu habedaber. What did Hashem say until now? Vayomer Elokim, Vayomer Elokim, Vayomer Elokim, Ba'asara ba'maros divrei Elokim. Hashem talk. Now you do the talk. I'm not talking anymore. I'll speak one more time. And we say in Kedusha, V'hu yashme'edu shedis. So there's another time
We're waiting for.
that we're waiting for. Why? But Hu Yashreinu Shadis means that Shadis didn't happen yet. That was it. That was the one time, and we haven't yet had a second time that Hashem spoke. Who speaks? Moshe Rabbeinu speaks. Yeshayahu Hanavi speaks. Navi. Navi means Niv Svasayim. It's now coming through your lips, through your tongue, through your mouth, because you now have taken over as the Medaber. Mind-boggling, not just in what the Dibur is, but not just what Dibur is, but what an Adab is, that you take over. You're in charge. I back off.
Sounds like the second level of Baal Kochel school.
Mamash. Selam Elokim.
And I give you the
Hence the term Selam Elokim. I've given you the koach. I've given you the koach to take over. I've given you the tselem to take over the whole Elokim process. Now, there's Gimel Mafteches Loy Masru Lord. Didn't give him everything. Doesn't mean everything. It doesn't give him everything. We can't. We
do
can't
miracles.
Kill, we can't kill people, but we can't create life force per se.
We can do miracles.
We can do miracles.
Yeah.
Atzadik Goizer,
Yeah.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim, right? We can go. We see like Pinchas Ben Yair, split the sea, right? I mean, people. You can do miracles. We can do unbelievable things. We're in charge of a huge amount, beyond a misper, beyond anything we can count. If we have to get our a chart, going over here as to what we are in charge of. But the point is that as far as Bereshis Bar Elokim as Hashemayim as Aretz, Hashem B'Sheishis Bereshis, and now he yishlatu on him, and he said that Shehu HaMedaber V'Hamanigosam, take care of the garden. Now you take care of people, take care of the world. I'll be called protect. How do we do that? How do we do this? A koach. There's got to be something so important about the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu's initial response to his charge was lo ish devarim. Anoichi, lo ish devarim. You need somebody who has dibur. You need an eloquent spokesman. You need to get a real speaker here. But Hashem told him, misam pela adam. Well, let's go back to basics, Moshe Rabbeinu. Who made Adam into a medaber? Mm-hmm. I made Adam into a medaber. Don't tell me you're not a ish devarim. But the conversation there, the sugya there was, this is going to require some real koach ha'adam to be able to take Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim and split the sea and v'yaminu b'Hashemu v'Moshe avdo. Into the koach of Adam. It's so much so that people tended to worship koach Adam, which is, of course, crossing the red line, and that's what you're not allowed to do. They worship Paro. This was the Zelul Mazeh. Bring people closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Coming from here, that obviously HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the means to Adam to do this.
Yeah, medaber, uniform.
So what does it mean? I've probably been discussing it, but what does it mean before? We're given this kiss.
That's what we're learning.
We in charge of the world. What does it mean for us
Yeah.
as individual, like on a daily basis?
Did Hitler destroy the world? Look at the koach the man had. So, it seems to me like Kal v'chomer.
Listen,
What one man should be able to do do all that on a positive level plus. One person. It's an amazing koach ba'adam to build, and as he says, al pi kol pratei tznuoisav, you're the medaber, you're the manhig, al pi kol pratei tznuois maisav, everything you do, every move makes a difference. Dibur of everything you say, machshavois of everything you think. V'chol sidrei hanhagoisav, what's left? Everything I do, everything I say, everything I think, v'chol sidrei hanhagoisav, and my whole lifestyle, like how I have chosen to behave. Meaning, I think it means like, are my an open person, a closed person? Am I a kind person, or am I a mean person? All called sidrei hanagoyim, my whole style. Hein l'toiv, Oy lahepech, chas v'shalom. Chas v'shalom. It's huge. The koach. Now again, it's important to understand that it's not all the koach, but it's a lot. It's a lot in this world. We took over mamish this world, take over, and the worlds of lamala. I was just remembering that in the Mesilas Yesharim, Parak Aleph, he says, talks about what a person's purpose is in this world. And he says, the Lashon of Mesilas Yesharim, quoting a medrash. Zel Shainim, Re'eh is kol, Hashem said to man, Re'eh is kol ma'aseh Elokim. Look at everything Hashem made. B'shah shebara HaKadosh Baruch Hu es Adam Harishon. When Hashem created Adam Harishon, Nitalai, he took him, V'hechaziroi al kol ilanei Gan Eden, and he showed him all of the garden. Amar Loi, and he said to him, Re'eh Masai. Look what I meant. Kama noyim shubachim he. Aren't they beautiful? V'chol ma shebarasi bishvilcha barasi. Bishvilcha can be translated, simple pshat is, these are here to serve you. And bishvilcha can be translated as, this is for you to be in charge of. Tain, this is the key that I want to bring out. Tain daitcha, please pay attention. Shalot tekalkel v'tachri v'soilami. Just don't destroy it. I've created this world. I'm putting you in charge. Don't be a jerk. Like al tekalkel v'soilami. Don't destroy the world which I made. Now, what does that mean? It's just you shouldn't kill plants for nothing. For sure. You shouldn't drop nuclear bombs. Don't kill people, but on every single level you can think of, al tekalkel, not baltashkas kolilan, and not by hurting other people, and not by doing anything which is destructive at all in our lives. If you're destroying the company, then what did I make you the CEO for?
There's no positive. It's just don't do a negative.
A positive is everything. Every time you do a mitzvah, every time you do deeper, you're building. You're taking over. But lishmar sagan ula avda sagan l'shamra. Make it grow, but don't destroy it. Whatever you do, don't destroy it. With the famous Vart of, I think it was the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe that was talking to Skilling that we're losing Jews, and there was a big sheet that still is of this is what I call the Nadav ve'Avihu syndrome, where like we need to improve upon God, and like with all the different things that they may have done wrong, probably it all comes down to common denominator between the things like. We know a little bit better. Like we're balabatim here, right? We know a little bit better. So if we drink, we'll be more spiritual. If we bring this aish, it'll be more, it'll be a real kiddush Hashem. Well, kiddush Hashem didn't say to do that. So what's the kiddush Hashem? Like and they did things. So there's this always idea of improving upon our instructions. As to what to do. Just do what I'm telling you, and you'll be able to take care of the world. You'll be able to build, and you won't be able to destroy. But there's always been a movement that's thought that it's better to improve upon it. Like it's better. Like isn't it better if everyone drives to shul on Shabbos, then more people will be in shul? That makes like perfect sense, right? If they're not in shul, where they're going to be? Like this is always where are you going to be if you're not in shul? You're going to go to the movies, you're going to watch TV, you're going to play, where are you going to be? Is it a good thing? Is it? No, because you can't improve on the Dvar Hashem. So in some discussion, somebody said to the Rebbe, to the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, well, there's a fire burning, nobody's looking if there's, what kind of water you're pouring on it, clean water, dirty water, you do whatever you can do to put out the fire, and the Rebbe said, yeah, but you don't want to throw kerosene on the fire, you've got to know what you're doing here, so like to kalkel, you think you're doing a good thing. Okay, it's water, it's polluted water, it's not drinkable water, but once you start throwing something which is more flammable, you made the problem even worse. So you got to be, so the answer is that together with the Brias Ha'adam and the Koach HaMedaber came an instruction manual. So I think that's why Hashem had to speak again. Hashem had to speak again to tell us this is how you work this thing. Meaning the Kabbalas HaTorah was the end of Tohu Vavohu. So the end of Tohu Vavohu, let me tell you how this thing, here's the, because otherwise, it's like opening a box from IKEA and just throwing out the instructions. It's bound to fail.
So what's the second time he speaks to us going to be? You did a good job?
No, because the world's a whole different condition.
So why would Hashem wait 2,000 years? A human being.
Because we knew already how to build civilization. We knew already how to build tools and bridges and houses. It took 2,000 years to get the Gashmiya straight. Now, what are you going to do with it? How do you use it? So, like the first part of the of the CEO leadership does not require Torah, because it's mechanical, it's physical. How do you put it together? How do you make it work? And then now it's together. Tohu Vavohu is all sorted out. You know how to plant trees. You know how to kill animals and all this stuff. How to even grow animals. Now I got to tell you how to use this, and that's the Alpine Torah. So there was a Yashmienu Shein, Hu Yashmienu, Brias Ha'olam, and then Hu Yashmienu Shenis is at the end of the next 2,000 years. So now we have another paradigm shift as how to use the world. I need to give you again instructions, but we don't lose our. It's not like Mashiach gets all the power. We have the koach. We have the koach to bring a gula. We have a koach to manage the gula. Let me just besides the Mesilas Yesharim, I was thinking about this. That at the very beginning, the Torah says a story we all know too well. Let's just look at this for 1 minute before we end. The Nachash was very, very arum. Arum means foxy. You see a foxy snake. Asher asa Hashem conniving. Asher asa Hashem Elokim. Arum mikol chayes hasod asher asa Hashem Elokim. Vayomer Elisha Afki Amar Elokim lo'isaychlo mikol eitzagan. Now, this is always translated, I think, incorrectly. Because it goes, even though Hashem said to eat, you're not supposed to, right? Like af-al-pi, that Hashem said not to eat from kol eitzagan, and that's Sof Pasuk, is the end of the Pasuk. So that's the wrong translation. It's the wrong niggin. The way this is read is, Nachash says to Isha cleverly, connivingly, Afki Amar Elokim lo'isaychlo mikol eitzagan. Tell me something, Isha. Did Hashem say not to eat from any of the eitzagan? Do we sometimes miss that? This conversation between the Nachash and the Isha started off with a question. Let me ask you a question. Did Hashem say not to eat from any of the eitzagan? What's the essence of that question? Like, aren't you in charge here? No. We're in charge. We can eat whatever we want. We're Balabatim over here. He only said, added by her Pentamusa. But so the introductory Shaklavatariya, I just want to bring out for this morning, between the Nachash and the Isha was a question and an answer. Let me point something out to you. Are you allowed to use this world, or are you not allowed to use this world? Are you in charge, or are you not in charge? Nachash says, you're in charge of me, but I'm just a Nachash, you're an Adam. You're in charge. So, we can see this happening in a company. Are you in charge or are you not in charge? Take leadership here. Like, are you allowed to eat from the eitzagan? The answer is yes, I am.
Make an executive decision.
That's right. Now, there's only one thing that I'm not allowed to eat. Now, it's so interesting. She said that if I eat this, Amar Elokim Elokim, loy seichel menu loy sigu by pentamusa. Vayomer anachash alisha loy moistamusa. Not us. Ki yodei Elokim ki v'yoy macholchem menu v'nifkachu einechem v'yisam keloikim yodei toiv v'ra. All you're doing is expanding your Elokim a little bit. You're a life force. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made you the Tzelem Elokim. You're allowed to. Is it true? You're allowed to eat everything. You're allowed to do whatever you want. This is your world. This is your world. Color it. Right. This is your world. So Hashem is limiting something in the Elokim for Himself. Go for it. If you're in charge, be in charge. Take one more thing. Yodea Toiv V'Ra, that you should have das. It's a das. Like, why not take that one thing? I don't. There's too much to go into for the already over time. But what the Retzachta is the Inyan of Elokim. That's what we're talking about over here. How far does the Elokim go in the Bria Sa'ata? And the Nachash is engaging the Nachash, which we have made into the Yetzer Hara. Think about it. The Nachash is engaging Chava, and he's saying to her, are you in charge, or are you not in charge? I can't tell you how many times in my life people have said that to me. It's a very impolite question. Like, are you in charge? Not in charge. If you're in charge, do what I want you to do. Fascinating. It's fascinating when people, I told you 3 times to do that. Why aren't you? Are you in charge or are you not in charge? Like a fascinating, twist of Krumkeit.
Your children say that to you all the time.
Right. Take charge. Listen to me. The Nachash is saying to Chava, this is what's going on here. This is challenging the newly created CEO of the entire Gan with the instruction la'avda or l'shamra, and the ability to eat you could eat whatever you want. Don't worry about it, because you're not just doing this for you don't worry about eating the profits. You can eat everything you want. You can do whatever you want. You can be with your husband. You can everything is mutter. So the Nachash said, so look at the power that you have. Now, what's going to happen if you eat from the Eitz Hadas? Probably nothing. All you're doing is expanding your koch, and he was right. She didn't die. Hey, we didn't die. So, Kasha, why didn't they die? Hashem said explicitly a page earlier that if you eat this, you're going to die. But they didn't die. So like that, Sarachim. But the point was, they're the CEO. We have Bechir Chavshis. If we would die every time we would do an Aver, then we wouldn't have Bechir Chavshis, right? So it doesn't. It's not so simple. But the sugya, the point I want to make is that the sugya of the Nachash, that we'll go further, is the sugya of Dibur and the sugya of Koyach Elokim and Selam Elokim, and how far does that go? Well, was the Nachash talking? Apparently the Nachash was talking at this point. So I don't know if it was talking like we're talking, or she understood Nachash language, but it was able to articulate something. Can't be. He didn't have the